Welcome to Living in Philadelphia Suburbs. I'm Neil, and what we're going to do today is look at a couple houses up on called Barron Hill, right next to St. Peter's Church, where the Revolutionary War battle took place. And it's a beautiful day, although last night around 7 o'clock there was a huge tornadic kind of storm came through, trees, destruction, but not that bad. Of course, no electricity in this neighborhood, which of course is where I live, so that's not cool, but it's not going to kill us either. Makes you realize how dependent we are on electricity and what a great thing it is. Everybody has their generators running. They're all powered by natural gas. So although the powers that be want to get rid of natural gas, it's way more reliable and efficient and cheaper than electricity. So who are you going to listen to? There's my neighbor. He's an electrician. He should be having a busy day today. In case you didn't figure it out, we're going to walk this whole thing. We're going to go up to Barron Hill, look around, and then we're going to go down to the Wissahickon, take a look at the Northwestern stable, because it's going to give you a really good idea what's available around here. Here's the thing. If you have questions or things that you're interested in, let me know. I've been delving into the technical aspects of YouTube, and the one thing I've learned is that most of my viewers are seniors. So to me, that means some electrical guys. Okay, what are they doing? This is Hart's Lane. That way, it goes up to the church in Barron Hill. This way, if you go all the way across and down, it takes you to Koontz station. So the train is only about 1.5 miles from here. This neighborhood is called the Reserve. These houses are all like 1.2 million. The thing that you have to realize about these houses is that they have the drive-it stucco and they've all had problems. So off we go. I understand some of my best viewers live in Michigan. To you Michiganders, if you want to know more about Conshohocken, White Marsh, Plymouth, the local school district, I assume you guys are retirees or seniors also. Let me know what you're looking for. Send me your questions and put your comments in, down below. All my contact information is always below. Respond to your text messages, your emails, your phone calls. You can see a little bit of some of the leaves blew off. Here's a tree that didn't make it. It's a Bradford pear, which are landscaper trees. We're going to go through Koontz Park and we'll go from there. I love to walk. And I think that not only is walking great for your health, but it's also, physical health, but it's also great for your mental health. I mean, here we are in Koontz Park. And it looks like the trees made it okay here. Although I did see a big tree over here that fell down earlier. I saw it earlier. It fell down last night. The greenhouse is pretty much cleaned out. It'd be really good if you're looking to retire in Conshohocken, White Marsh, Plymouth, Lafayette Hill area, Colonial School District. If you have an interest in gardening, this greenhouse sits empty most of the year. Now, I'm sure there's all kinds of politics involved with the women who seem to run it and use it in the early spring, but it sits empty the rest of the year. Some people playing basketball. It's good to see the park being used. Let's see what's going on. Some babies over on the children's stuff. Basketball courts also set up, lined out for pickleball, but you have to bring your own equipment. And over by the other basketball net, you'll see there's a bunch of rules. They tell you what days or times are supposed to be devoted to pickleball, which ones are supposed to be devoted to b-ball. Racket sports have never really been my thing. I have no complaints though. All right, we're gonna cut through this edge of the cemetery. This is part of St. Peter's Cemetery. It's on both sides of Ridge. This side, the graves are more contemporary, modern era. But on the other side, there's some graves from the Revolutionary War. I'll talk to you when we get across Ridge. Although since the new construction, the rehab of Ridge Avenue, it's way safer than it has been in the past. Here we are at Ridge Pike. It's noisy. Going in that direction takes you up to Philadelphia, this way to Norristown. What they're working on now is the railroad bridge that takes Ridge over that spur that goes up to the quarry. Let's see, we're gonna get a chance to cross here. This is a $30 million project and they did a great job out here. This road hadn't been done since the 1930s. So it was almost 100 years old. Okay, now that side's Hart's Lane, this side's Church Road. The new light control has been a great thing. Okay, here's a house that's pending at $399. It's this unit in the back. It's been rehabbed in the last 10 years or so. It's lived in. It's a mini split system. It's 1,474 square feet. Most of the rehab work was done in 2019 and 2020. New boiler in 2021. 200 amp electric service. That's what you get for $400,000 here in Barron Hill. Let's go across to another one, which is right here. Now, this house was built in 1875. It's about 1,700 square feet, and they were here the other day gutting it. They originally had asked $295. It sold for $245 just a couple days ago. That house right there that we just left went under contract in 7 days. Oh, here's the electrician working. There he is. Look and see what's going on here on a rehab. Here's the backyard, big pile of trash. All right, look at this. This gives you an idea what you got to do for a rehab. This guy paid $245,000. He's probably going to spend $150,000 on the rehab. So what's he have to sell it for? He's going to be into it for $400,000. And there's the second floor. You might as well go up and see what they're doing. So this house probably originally was one room down, one room up. 1875 is when it says it was built. See, there's a step down, a completely different wall. Frame construction, and you know, it's Philadelphia, so the wood came out of a mill, not as if it was hand hewn or anything like that. Imagine this will be the bathroom, so you're gonna have 2 bedrooms, because you can see this was an addition on the back. So you're gonna have master 2 bedrooms, and then there's a 3rd floor. Of course, you have to come through the master to get up there, but you can have another loft bedroom up there. So, office, master, guest room. It's not what I would call a family house. Be interesting to see what they listed for. See if I can, I'm gonna have to call this guy, see if I can get the listing. And probably another bathroom down here, utility area, be a nice kitchen. It's all gonna be open. You can see they put in a glue lamb beam, which is a good way to go. Oh, yeah, it goes all the way across, so it's supported by all this, so it's just a short span. All right, that's good. All right, I'm gonna talk to the electrician who's from the Dominican, and we'll take a look at the church. I mean, here's the graveyard right here. Some people don't like being next to a graveyard. I lived next to a graveyard for 20 years. It was fine, nice and quiet. It's a cute little house. It's just a relatively trafficy location. Horse and buggy days, it was great to see your neighbors. Now, being so close to the road is a definite disadvantage. Looking at something like that interest you? Let me know. I find it fascinating. I'm always interested in people's ideas, people's techniques. I'm always interested in talking to the workers. The electrician there is a fellow from the Dominican Republic. He told me he lives with his daughter down by the Philadelphia airport. All he's doing is working to make some money so he can go back to the DR and live his life. That's what America's great for, helping people make some money. All right, literally, the battle took place right in this churchyard, 1778. General Lafayette and 2,000 colonial troops, 500 Oneida Indians. You know, the Indians served as the rear guard against the British. This is a marker from a long time ago. And then there's another plaque right here that describes the battle. And it was Muhlenberg, because this is a Lutheran church, so it was May 19, 1778. But it was Muhlenberg who established the church, famous Lutheran who, I guess he was very influential in the Pennsylvania Germans and the people who came here. He established the church in 1752. Now, obviously this was not the building that was here in 1752. It would have been a log building over my hometown of Springfield, Delaware County. Oh, okay. They're not gonna let me go. I'm just gonna go out there and make them stop. I was gonna say, in Springfield, the Quaker meeting, which is at Old State and Springfield Roads, which was established in right after before William Penn, I think, even got here, 1680 something. That was a log building. And the current building over there was built in the 1850s. I think this church building is from the 1890s. Okay, this is Andorra Road here. This little road that we're walking on used to go out to Ridge Pike. And there's some real nice colonial houses down there. It's kind of interesting. Let's see if people tend to drive slowly and respectfully here, but you never know. This is a great walk. Down at the bottom of this walk, we're gonna come to Fairmount Park in the Wissahickon. So anyhow, there's two houses. Just past St. Peter's, there's the Barron Hill Firehouse on Germantown Pike, and then just down about a quarter mile, you come to the market, and from the boot, and there's a number of restaurants in there. Right next to the firehouse is the Persian restaurant. It's really good. Look at this beautiful house. If this is the kind of thing that interests you, let me know. Leave me a comment. I need you to like, I need you to subscribe, and I need you to comment so I can get back on track here and present the things you're looking for. As I said earlier, what I found out is almost my entire viewership are seniors. You know, what are you interested in? What do you want to talk about? What do you want me to talk about? But without your input, I'm in the dark, doing the best I can, trying to figure out what people like based on the number of views. I'd love to be way more targeted on what I'm doing. Okay, so this is a walk, and I'm going to enjoy it for a while, and I'll see you when we get down near the bottom. It's not that far. I'd say this whole thing is maybe a mile, maybe less. There's a fella enjoying the day in his convertible. So that's what I'm talking about. Those are my peeps. Here comes another arborist's truck. I wish they would get something done here. I need some electricity in my house. Nice crane. What do you think a truck like that costs? $250,000? There's some beautiful estates in here. This tends to be, it's kind of mixed, Springfield Township and White Marsh Township. So you have to look at the maps to understand what township you're going to be in. I think if you look at it from the tax point of view, White Marsh is a way better place to live than Springfield. You know, Springfield has their own school district. It's one of the few remaining one-town, non-consolidated, non-unified school districts, at least in this area. This is a big, beautiful house. These houses basically on this side are up coming off a ridge. They're up at the top of that hill. Cactus wren, I think it is. Not a cactus wren, that's Arizona. Carolina wren. Starts with the same consonants. I'm not much of a birder. I like to look at them. I recognize a few of their calls and songs, but it's just what I picked up tagging along with my wife. Old barn, great barn. Leaping suicidal deer sign. The deer are everywhere out here, and you have to be really careful. That's all I can tell you. You have to have serious fence around your garden or anything you're trying to grow, and I don't mean anything. Even ornamental plants in your yard are difficult to keep alive. And then when you drive, I'm sure you people in Michigan know what it's like, but Pennsylvania has more car-deer collisions than any other state in the Republic. This is an interesting property. It's a few acres. There's a house back there. You can see this tree broke off last night. This lady used to keep horses, but now the fields are overgrown. Great deer habitat. You know what's around here? It's deer, number one. Foxes, raccoons, opossums, groundhogs, few skunks, squirrels, of course, and chipmunks. Canada geese. You'll find resident geese here. Oh, there's some grinding going on down ahead. Hopefully the noise isn't too bad. Here comes Jogger. Well, I wouldn't say she's jogging, I'd say she's running. Well, there's a guy who has a nice vegetable garden back there. This is a huge park somebody owns. He has a big pond. He runs, usually there's a fountain going. Young woman jogging, running, not jogging. These are black walnut trees. Black walnut is an interesting tree. Some of the animals will eat the walnuts, squirrels particularly. I got a bug a couple years ago, and I tapped some walnut trees near my house and got the syrup out of them, the sap, in February, and boiled it down. I ended up with, from 15 gallons of sap, I ended up with 4 ounces of walnut syrup. Economically, it made no sense, but I will say that the syrup, uniquely delicious, nutty flavored, clean and bright, and the sap itself was delicious. It was just like a real light greenish color, just barely green, and a little bit sweet, as you would imagine, and it was terrific, terrific. Multiflora roses, which when they imported them, they thought they were a great thing. Now they know they're a scourge like most of these other non-native species. All right, we're gonna just keep walking down the bottom. This will be noisy here with the chipper, so I'll show you the tree that fell across the road into wires though when we get down there. Didn't make it through the night. Big pine tree, white pine, I guess. And then there's another one from across the street. It came right up out from the roots. These folks have branches up there by their house. It was an interesting evening, I'll say that. The electricity's been out of my house since 7 o'clock last night. All right, It's a beautiful walk down here, as you can tell, and it'd be great to live down here. But all these houses definitely are in the $1 million plus range at this point. Not to say that they don't come on the market from time to time, because they certainly do. But this is, except for the destruction from last night, this is very typical of the way it is down here. It's quiet, peaceful, you're close to nature. There's a great house. Oh, it's this one over here. It's a modern, really cool. They've done some landscaping, which I think this guy here, personally, too close to the water. He shouldn't have done that. He should have let it naturalize. You know, everybody does. If you own a piece of land, you get to do with it pretty much what you want. Guy out bike riding. See, that guy's generator's running, so none of these people have electricity right now either. Let's see what's going on in here. I want to show you this house. It's really beautiful. Okay, you can see the forecourt there. The stream runs right through it, goes right down to the Wissahickon, which is right down here. Like a separate house, man cave, or whatever you'd want to call it, which is really pretty cool. And there's a bridge. As you can see, that building there is all glass. And then there's a bridge that goes across to the separate little unit, man cave, whatever you would call it. It's a great little property. Real quiet, real beautiful, very stylish. More generators. Okay, we're now down to the bottom of Andorra Road. There's some really nice little houses in here. This is an old house right here. Old spring house or something that's been converted into a summer playhouse. The creek flows right through the property. Here it is. You probably can't hear it, but it's babbling brook. Cuts across and goes right into the Wissahickon over here. This is actually the beginning of what they call Forbidden Drive, which I guess when the park was first established back in the 1850s, it was the kind of place, you brought your buggy or your surrey when you're in the courting mood or wanted to get some air. There's a big colonial house right there. These houses here I know are in White Marsh. Over here, this is Philadelphia. This is Northwestern Avenue. Chestnut Hill College is right up there at the end of the block at the stoplight. Let's walk over and we'll take a quick look at the stables because we've talked about it before. If you want to ride horses, you can do it. This is a great place you can keep your horse. So if you were moving into that house that's being rehabbed right next to the church, you could literally walk down here and jump on your horse and head on down Forbidden Drive. And you can go for miles and miles down Forbidden Drive. Those boys, Dad told them they're too muddy. Looked awful big to be pushed in that stroller. It's a different world we live in than the one in which I grew up. So listen, if you're interested in this kind of thing, let me know. Shoot me a comment below or send me a text or shoot me an email. All my contact information is always right below the video. This is a beautiful colonial house. No, Victorian, 1891 it says up there. And then up on the corner, you can just see his red and white awnings, Bruno's. I have to admit, I've never eaten there, but everybody who goes there loves it. There's got to be something really good about it. He's been there forever. So this is a big stable. That guy's talking to us. Look at this beauty. Oh yeah, you're beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. What a good boy. What a good boy. Bridget. That's Bridget, not a boy. A mare. Bridget's getting some air. Let's see what else is going on around here. Maybe there's a lesson you could watch for a few minutes. It's always fun to see other people falling off their horse rather than yourself. I myself learned how to ride on the Colorado State Champion 5-gated horse. A woman owned it in Hollywood, and I went up to stables in the Hollywood Hills, and that was great. See, here's the barn. Give you an idea. This is the old barn. Just hay in here. There's some stalls and horses up there. It smells great. It smells like straw. And this is the new barn. We were over here. They have events here from time to time. There's somebody who's not happy. There's a guy getting cleaned up. So that's Northwestern Stable. Let's walk back down, take a look at the creek and Forbidden Drive. Okay, here we are at the beginning of Forbidden Drive. See Andorra Nature Center's up this gravel road. They do educational things, mostly with the kids. There's some demonstration projects, beehives, fruit trees, all that kind of thing. I don't know the name of this little house. It's a coffee shop. I don't know when it actually operates. Maybe it's only the weekends, because as you can see, it's pretty quiet. But this is Forbidden Drive, and it goes, all the way down to Kelly Drive, basically, where the Wissahickon Transportation Center is. The Cedars House, breakfast and lunch. When they're open, I don't know. They might be open now, but I know on the weekends, if you come down here, it's real busy. Let's walk down, look at the creek, and then, of course, we had this beautiful walk down here. Now we get to walk back home. It's a mile and a half. I'm not going to bore you with that, but if I see something interesting, and when I get back up to the church, I think I'll show you the Germantown curve and how close you are to the shops if you were to live up there on Barron Hill right next to the church. Game and fish stock the Wissahickon with trout. It's kind of late in the year, but the weather's been really cool and a lot of rain. So I'm thinking maybe there's still fishing opportunities here if you were willing to give it a try. I imagine the water is pretty stirred up from last night's weather. Oh, I can smell the water. Okay, here we are. This is the Wissahickon. Yeah, it's definitely muddy. Now this is the little stream that follows Andorra Road, and you can see it's crystal clear. You still have the runoff, but whatever people put in their yards and all that kind of stuff on their grass. But here, this is the Wissahickon. It's flowing pretty good, pretty muddy. I think if you swim in it, you get arrested, but it's a shame because why shouldn't you be allowed to swim in it? And it goes all the way down again to Ridge by the avenue, by the Wissahickon Transportation Center, and flows into the Schuylkill. You pass Rittenhouse Town and where the hermits lived, the Hermit's Cave, and all that kind of cool stuff. If you don't know about the Hermit's Cave, leave me a comment and maybe I could take you over there sometime. It's a pretty interesting bunch of religious people from the early 1700s. And they decided they were going to live in the woods, kind of like a Thoreau, early Thoreau type deal, I guess. Plenty close to town, but far enough away from town to not be bothered. This building here, let's get up on Forbidden Drive. This is one of the old Fairmount Park structures, little picnic area. You go along, you'll find there's restrooms, there are little guard houses. I think some of the guard houses were designed by Frank Furness, famous Philadelphia architect. Porta potty, wash station. There's some amenities here. And you know what? The people who use it, look at it. There's no trash. I know people come down here and run on a regular basis. Fairmount Park, hey, that horse is still winning. Again, if this is the kind of information topic of display that you find interesting, let me know. If you think this is like the biggest waste of time in the world, I really wish you would let me know that. If you live up in Michigan, has the snow melted yet? Tell me what you think. I really want to provide content that's meaningful and informative for you. Yeah, you. And if you're looking to move to the Philadelphia suburbs, and I don't care if it's 9 days, 9 weeks, or 9 months, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, because I want to help you make a smooth move in the Philadelphia suburbs. So I'm going to sign off temporarily, and we'll start back in when we get back up by the church. Okay, here we are, back at St. Peter's Church. There's the house, that yellowish house with the green trim that gutted and made rehab. This was our walk down Andorra Road. Right over here is Germantown Pike. I'm just looking I'd like to get across the street. Here we go. Great area. Boy Scouts, Tuesdays. I bet the troop could use some help if you're going to be retired around here and you need something to do. We're just going to walk down here to Germantown Pike. I'll point out a couple landmarks, and then we're going to wrap this up. This is a good walk. For me, it's about 3 miles. I don't think any more than that. There's some great markers in here from the Victorian times, Edwardian period. I'm looking 1907, 1914. So here now we're approaching. There's the Barron Hill Volunteer Fire Company. We've talked about volunteering before. You don't have to be a firefighter to volunteer at the fire company. They need all kinds of help. So there may be a place for you over there if you're going to be retired here in White Marsh, Lafayette Hill, Barron Hill. Apparently, originally this was called the Barron Hill. And then I think sometimes after Lafayette made his return visit in the 1800s, they decided to change the name to Lafayette Hill. I think because of the battle, and they just liked the way it sounded. This building here is the now closed General Lafayette Inn. It has colonial parts, has Victorian parts. There was a really cool bar room in there. It's now closed. And here we are out on Germantown. It takes this big curve here and goes right down to where we just were, which is the intersection with Bruno's restaurant, and on the other side, the Chestnut Hill College. This is Brittingham's restaurant, very popular. Right next to the gas station, you can just see the fountain shooting up. It's a Persian restaurant. And then right where those cars are, where you see everybody slowing down because there's a traffic light, that's that little shopping center that we looked at in the White Marsh video, because the township building is right there across the street. We looked at those shops. There's a drugstore, there's a few restaurants, there's a coffee shop, and dry cleaner and all the sundry things that people might need. That's just to give you an idea how eminently walkable it actually is around here. Do most people do it? No, but it certainly can be done. There you have it. If you like what I'm doing, let me know. Like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribers will keep this channel going. Comments will tell me where I'm going right, where I'm going wrong. And as always, right below is all my contact information. So what did we do today? We had a good long walk. We really got a good long hard look at these neighborhoods right around Barron Hill. We saw 2 houses, one that just is pending for $399, probably go for a little bit more because it went under contract in 7 days. And we see this rehab, he's gonna have to list it for $500 or more just to get out of it with some kind of reasonable profit, return on his investment. There you have it. Thanks for watching. My name's Neil. As always, this is Living in Philadelphia Suburbs. My goal here is to inform you and help you make a smooth move in the Philadelphia suburb. I don't care if it's 9 days, 9 weeks, or 9 months from now. Shoot me a text, send me an email, give me a call. I want to help you. I'm Neil. See you again soon.